One Life to Live, Bo becomes the target of a secret plot.
The Ralstons will have their revenge on the Buchanans.
And Drew sets the plan in motion.
Cheers.
And on the edge of night.
Try not to get too sensitive about my relationship with Sky.
Doesn't mean I have to like her.
I just don't want to feel like it's either or with my social life right now. I think you know that.
One Life to Live, The Edge of Night. Weekdays.
Hello, this is Chief Derek Mallory. This is a recording. Please leave your message after the sound of the signal.
Derek, I'm really very sorry. It's Geraldine Saxon. Sorry to trouble you, but when I got home from the Whitney house tonight, I found that Raven was not here. And I'm really terribly worried about her. If you do have a chance to call, please do. I'm going to just wait up until she gets home, at which time, of course, I will leave another message. Thank you. Raven, where in heaven's name are you?
Skylar, come to bed soon.
Spencer, you're back.
Yes, back from the wars. Am I limping badly?
Sounds as if the battle was rough.
Well, mostly tiring. I don't think there's a banking institution in Chicago of any kind that I didn't pay a visit to.
Without any luck, I got it.
None at all. Sky, this key of Jeff Brown's is as mysterious as ever. If this key fits any deposit box in the state, I don't know where it is. It's been a very frustrating experience. Of course, you know about these safety deposit keys. The number on them isn't the number on the box.
Of course not. Then anyone finding the key could violate your privacy.
Which is what we did. In a way. We did find the key among Jeff Brown's personal possessions.
That wasn't the reason the banks turned you away, though, was it?
Turn away Skylar Whitney's business manager? They'd have to be out of their minds. No, I had no trouble getting all the cooperation I needed. I spoke to only the top officials. Of course, they were all hoping that I was there to make a sizable deposit.
I'm sure they were.
Your name opened every door, Skylar, but this key didn't open a thing.
How did you determine that?
Well, some of them checked the numbers on the records that they had, but that doesn't do much good because the key can be duplicated and any number can be put on it.
Including 5011.
I wish. No, our best bet was to check the names of the depositors.
And there was no Skylar Whitney?
No, and no Jefferson Brown, of course.
Well, he could have used a pseudonym.
Whatever he did, Skylar, we are up against an impossible proposition.
Any suggestions?
I think we should forget the whole thing.
No, I won't do that.
It might not matter that we know where the box is. There might be nothing of value in it, Sky.
There's got to be. Why else we conceal it? Why go to the trouble? Spencer, we still don't know the extent of this estate, how huge it could be. What would Jeff Brown hide away from the rest of the world? Gems? Diamonds, maybe? Deeds of property, negotiable bonds?
Maybe some baby pictures he thought were sentimentally valuable.
I don't care what it is. The point is he is still hiding something from me. Still laughing at me from the grave.
Sky, I think you're making too much of this. But I admit I'm as curious as you are. So I'll just keep looking for the answer, even if I have to go to every bank in the country.
Now, what if it isn't in this country? What about a bank in Switzerland?
I think you're beginning to see our problem.
Well, you solved worse for me, Spencer.
Well, I'll keep working on it. By the way, it looks like your party was a success.
Yes, I'm sorry you couldn't be here. It was, interesting. I'll tell you all about it in the morning, and about our uninvited guest.
Who was that?
The lady who used to live here.
If you don't mind, I think I'd like to hear that story right now.
In that case, I'll have a second nightcap.
Doesn't that man ever go to sleep? Skylar, hurry up. I'm getting tired of waiting.
Sanderson, what the hell are you doing?
Just listening, Detective.
You know, that's a good way to get your head blown off. Just get out of here.
Yes, sir.
I was just trying to figure out what he was doing.
Listen, Sandy, do me a favor. Go downstairs and keep an eye out for Chief Mallory. As soon as he gets here, let us know real fast. You got that?
I've got it.
Well, at least we got our tails covered. We can always say we posted somebody to watch for the chief.
Well, the chief is definitely not going to be too happy about the two of us coming up here alone without him.
Look, we got to take the initiative, Tyler. This guy says he's going to blow up the whole building.
I didn't hear that, did you?
I heard one of the guys say it.
Well, we're just going to have to find out for ourselves. Lowry! Bill Lowry, this is Detective Damian Tyler.
Knock, knock, get his attention. Yes, we
Got his attention. Lowry, this is Detective Tyler. You said you wanted to see me. Here I am, okay?
How do I know it's you, Tyler?
Open the door and look.
I'll open the door, all right, with a cannon.
You can't stay in there forever, Lowry!
Shut up, Lewis!
Who was that? That didn't sound like Tyler.
No, that is me. It's Detective Tyler. You have my word on it.
Look, this is getting us no place. He's right by the door. Let's rush him. Wait! What the hell's going on here?
You know, if you look to your right, way down there, you see the lighted clock tower on the International Building? You see that? See what time it is?
Yeah, I know. It's very late. Has Nicole gone to bed?
Yeah, she's completely exhausted. It was a work day for her, you know.
Oh, for you too?
Yeah, it was. Listen, you want some hot chocolate, something like
No, Miles. Nothing for me, thanks.
that? You know, I get the feeling that you didn't exactly enjoy that party tonight. Is that a wrong assumption?
It was all right. I don't know. It was a weird party. All sorts of strains in the atmosphere.
I detected a little strain between you and Gavin.
You did, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you can see that kind of thing in people's faces after they've had a quarrel. Have you noticed that?
No. We didn't really quarrel. We didn't really agree either, though.
Wild guess. The subject was the Republic of Eden.
Gavin says I think about it too much.
I would guess you're thinking about it right now. I would guess that that was the subject on your mind when I walked out on the terrace.
Do you realize that I have never seen this little country where my ancestors were born?
Isn't that remarkable? What? Now, wait, do you realize that I have never seen Ireland? My great-great-grandfather comes from Ireland. I've never seen Scotland. My great-grandmother comes from Scotland. I have a Swede somewhere in the background. I have never been to Sweden.
Okay,
Some
now
French
you're making
guys.
fun of me.
No, it isn't that. It's just that I want to make sure you're thinking the right way about this Eden business. You know, because it's so easy to get pulled in by the romance of this kind of a thing, especially since you think you've got some distant relative who was of royal birth and who performed some heroic deed.
But I am related to her, and I must have inherited some of her genes.
Well, now, heredity is a very tricky thing. I can assure you of one thing. Heroism is not one of the things that is passed down through the genes.
I know. Believe me, I know that. And I don't feel heroic. I mean, when I was being held prisoner, I was scared to death.
Well, I didn't mean to say that fear and courage are opposites either.
You know, you're right about the romance, though. I mean, it is romantic, and it's almost like a wonderful Technicolor movie in my mind.
Starring Jodie Travis.
Yeah, something like that. Although Marie Bonaventure, I mean, when her movie ended, she didn't take off her makeup and her costume, did she? I mean, she was dead.
Yes, she was.
Miles, I know you told me you don't believe in prophecies.
Oh, now look, I am a doctor, you know. I'm a man of science. No one's going to tell me that I can predict the course of a patient's illness by looking into the leaves of a teacup or gazing into a crystal ball.
Okay, but don't you believe that there are certain people who are gifted?
I believe that prophecies were made mostly to make people feel better about the future, or to frighten them into better behavior than present.
Okay, just the same, then there is the Eden prophecy that Marie Bonaventure's descendant would come back and help free the people from tyrants.
I've heard the prophecy.
Okay. But if I don't come forth, then that automatically makes the prophecy false, doesn't it?
You don't have any obligation to make it come true.
But just the same, it's...
Just the same, it's what?
Tomorrow I am going to find out more about this medieval pageant.
What medieval pageant?
Oh, I didn't tell you about that, did I?
No, you didn't.
Well, there's going to be a celebration, the 300th birthday of Eden. And there's going to be this celebration, and it's going to be held right outside of Monticello. Anyway, I don't see why there's any reason I shouldn't go there. And yeah, in fact, I think I will. Good night, Miles.
My bedroom.
Oh, no, I thought it was mine.
It was yours, not so very long ago.
Oh, this is awful. I was so tired, it must have been the champagne, and I just came up here to rest for a little.
I understand.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll leave.
Oh, don't go yet. I'm glad you're here.
You are?
I've been wanting to speak to you all evening. To tell you how lovely you looked. How happy I was that you came to the party.
But you didn't even invite me. I had to come with someone you did invite.
I was surprised to see you, of course. But then I was very glad.
I don't believe you.
How could I have invited you? You were so angry with me the last time we met. I thought you'd never want to see me again.
I was angry with you. I still am.
In that case, I have nothing to lose.
What do you mean?
By making you even angrier. Like this.
What's going on here? What are you doing in my bed? Get out of here. Spencer! You heard me. I said get out! Now! Spencer, would you see to it that Miss Alexander gets home safely?
Of course.
Oh, thanks, Mom, but you didn't have to wait up for me.
Well, I had to find out how the big party went, didn't I? As a matter of fact, it must have been quite a bash, considering the hour.
Yeah, well, we left a little bit after midnight, but I've been with Jody at the Kavanaughs.
Well, how was it? I mean, it must have been quite something. Last time you were at the old Whitney mansion, as far as I remember, you and Jody went there as, burglars.
Yeah, that's right. But it was a different Whitney. You know, this guy even has the same manners as the old one. Same sort of arrogant air about him.
Yeah, the imposter probably borrowed those, too.
Yeah, I thought of that. But this is the original one. I'm not so sure I like it. The weird thing is seeing Gunther there.
Yeah, it must have been peculiar. Seeing somebody you were supposed to have murdered. How'd Jody react?
Jody? Jody's mind is somewhere else these days. I don't think she notices much around her.
You mean with the kidnapping and all that stuff?
Especially all that stuff. Half the time she's over the rainbow in Eden.
Yeah, I've noticed she's been a little absent-minded lately.
Hey, what's this? I mean, I know you're taking a week off, but I didn't know you were traveling.
They are stars. I'm shipping them to New York tomorrow.
Really? Well, what's going on? Is she going to live in New York permanently?
Yeah, something like that.
I see. Well...
Look, Gavin, Star and I are getting divorced.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Calvin.
Yeah, well, considering all that's happened, it can't be that much of a surprise.
No, not completely. But I didn't know things were that serious.
Gavin, I just don't understand. I mean, just a short time ago, I thought that a divorce would just solve all of my problems.
Because of Dee Dee?
Yeah. And now, here's the solution right in my hands. My wife doesn't want to be my wife anymore. And Dee Dee doesn't want any part of me. And here I sit with a week with nothing else to do but just think about it.
Chief, it's my responsibility. The guy said he was either going to blow himself up or blow up the whole building. I had to do something.
What's the matter? You couldn't talk him out of there?
Well, I hardly got a chance.
I still think we should rush him, Chief. He's obviously stalling for time.
Look, just give me another break at it.
All right, look, you try once more. If you can't talk him out of there, I got two guys on the roof going to come through the window, and then we're going to have to break that door down.
Lowry! This is Damian Tyler again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. But I still don't know if it's you, Tyler.
Look, Lowry, I can prove who I am. You remember the last time I busted you at the restaurant? I know what you were eating. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
It was Clam's Casino, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Clam's Casino. My favorite. And you let me finish them.
Right. Well, never let a good dish go to waste, I always say. Look, Lowry, if you come out of there, I promise I'm going to have a plate of Clam's Casino sent down to the station house right away. You have my word on that. Wait a minute! Don't shoot!
I gotta check you out. With marinara sauce, Tyler, huh? Right?
Hello.
Geraldine, it's Derek Mallory.
Thank heavens.
Julian, I got your message. Is Raven still not home yet?
No, she isn't, and I'm more worried about her than ever. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to leave the party and leave her there like that, but I just couldn't be helped.
Well, my dear, it isn't your fault. If it's anyone's, it's mine. I should have kept track of that woman. Derek, she was drinking tonight, too. I suppose you were aware of that.
Oh, she sure was drinking. But listen, I'm sure somebody there gave her a ride back.
Well, I certainly hope so. I hope she doesn't decide to... Oh, wait, here she is. Thank you, dear. Good night. Raven.
Don't start yelling at me now. I've heard enough yelling for one night.
Hello, Mrs. Saxon.
Spencer.
I was asked to escort Mrs. Alexander home.
Well, thank you very much.
What are you thanking him for?
If you'll excuse me, I'll say it.
Wait a minute, Spencer. I have a message for your boss. You tell him that he hasn't heard the last of me yet. And you also tell him that someday he's gonna be begging for me to stay.
America's... On the next Check It Out, Edna's Mystery Man has Howard in the hot seat.
Jealous? Me? Jealous?
Check it out. Tomorrow night at 8:30 on USA. You're watching USA, America's all-entertainment network.
The man was so rude to me. There I was, a guest in his own house, and he treated me like an intruder.
You know perfectly well that you were far more intruder than guest. In fact, Skylar didn't even invite you to his party.
But he did invite Derek Mallory, and Derek had every right to invite someone.
I'm sure it never occurred to my nephew that Derek would bring you.
Well, that's no excuse for him to be rude once I was under his roof.
You were not merely under his roof, my dear. You were in his bedroom, in his bed.
Well, I was exhausted. I was tired, and that's Derek's fault for running off and leaving me alone.
Derek is the chief of police. He had an emergency. I heard the story on the news this morning.
I am not interested in Derek's heroics.
Well, you're not interested in Derek either. You've done nothing but treat him shamelessly.
You are all against me. You, Derek, and your stupid nephew.
Personally, I think Skylar handled the whole thing very well. He could have been far more unpleasant about finding you in his bedroom.
How could he possibly have been more unpleasant? Do you know what he did? He sent me home.
Oh, the cad.
He didn't even have the decency to take me home himself.
My dear girl, just what was it you expected him to do?
No, we're not at all sure it's from your bank, Herr Rothman, but since my old friend Jefferson Brown did maintain an account there for a while... Yes, one moment. The number is 5011. Yes, I know the key number doesn't correspond with the box number. Pardon? You're absolutely certain of that? Yes, very well. Thank you, Herr Rothman, and auf Wiedersehen. Nothing.
Number meaningless?
The whole call was meaningless. Rothman said he would have been aware if Jeff had a safety deposit box. He knows the identity of every owner.
Well, it's not the only bank in St. Moritz. There's always Zurich.
Oh, yes, and Paris, Rome, Walla Walla, and Dubuque. This is madness, Spencer. We're never going to find a use for this key this way.
You know, Sky, there might be one other approach.
What's that?
Well, it occurred to me while I was leaving the hotel last night. Do you suppose that the former Mrs. Schuyler Whitney knows anything about that key?
Now that is a very good thought.
I do wish you'd try to eat something, Raven. You must keep up your strength.
I'm surprised I have an appetite at all.
I never knew you when you didn't have one. Hello. Oh, yes, Skylar. Yes, she is. Just a minute. My nephew wants to talk to you.
Oh, really? I bet he wants to apologize for last night. Hello.
Good morning, Raven. Spencer assures me that you got home all right.
Well, I could have made it home quite well on my own.
Yes, well, what I was wondering is if you could manage to spare a few moments of your time this morning at your hotel.
Well, I am kind of busy. I don't know if I have the time.
Oh, please. I promise it won't take very long.
Well, in that case, all right. I gotta get dressed.
Well, well, early start this morning.
Yeah, well, I'm going over to see my girl. That's what she is.
Yeah, what's this about her going to a party last night without you?
Hey, she asked me. I mean, she was the host's date, so I thought it was appropriate she go alone.
Well, is this host competition?
Yeah, probably. You've heard of Skylar Whitney, haven't you?
The guy who came back from the dead to reclaim his inheritance.
Yep. Val met him before the plane crash. I guess he figures that Val's part of his inheritance here.
And what's Val have to say about that?
She likes him. Why wouldn't she? The guy's charming, good-looking, he has a lot of dollars. I mean, why not?
The man who has everything, huh?
Yep.
Sounds like a worthy rival.
Hey, not to worry.
I wish I had your confidence.
Good morning. Hi.
Let's see what you mean. I was just on my way out. You guys have a great sitting.
Door for you. Well then.
See you later.
Hello and goodbye. Hi.
Hi. You look great.
Oh, no, I don't. I look awful. I didn't get to bed till about 2 o'clock in the morning. In fact, I thought maybe you'd want to forget about this sitting this morning.
Oh, don't be silly. You look fine. Besides, sitting for a portrait isn't like taking a photograph.
Well, I think I'm going to fall asleep.
And what kept you out so late?
A party.
At the Whitney Mansion.
Yeah, how did you know?
Jim was telling me about it. His friend Val was there, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, she was the hostess, sort of.
Well, I hope you had a good time.
Yeah. Chad, by the way, there was something I did want to ask you.
Fire away.
It's about your least favorite subject.
Eden.
Right. See, I heard about this tricentennial celebration, and I thought maybe you'd know something about it.
Yeah, I knew about it. I've been hearing about little else for the last couple of months, mostly from Ambassador Groves. You see, it's the 300th anniversary of our country, and they want to make a big fuss over it, both here and on the island.
So, are you going to take part in it?
Well, they're imploring me to come home and put on my comic opera uniform and attend all sorts of ceremonies and parties and whatnot.
Well, are you going?
No. I was able to withstand the onslaught, but I had to make a concession.
What was that?
Well, I had to agree to attend the pageant here.
And just where is here?
Oh, it's in Graham County at a place called Raleigh Castle, which is a stone-by-stone recreation of the original royal castle.
Really?
A rich man named John Raleigh brought it over here at the end of the last century, and he was able to preserve every damp corridor, torture chamber, and dungeon.
Boy, you make that sound nice.
Well, I don't like castles. I prefer painting studios and penthouses. Well, anyway, this thing lasts for a whole week, and there's all sorts of state dinners and dull speeches and silly demonstrations of medieval skills.
Oh, you mean like jousting and things like that?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Can anybody attend this party?
Well, not the general public, no. It's strictly by invitation. Are you asking me to invite you, Jody?
Well, I don't have any shooting to do this morning. All I have to do is develop some proofs and put them in the dryer, so I should be able to be there by 12:15.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'll see you here then.
Okay, you know, you sound pretty chipper for someone who must have gotten to bed after 2 o'clock.
I'm fine. I'll probably fall apart by 8:30 tonight, but I'm all right now. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm a little nervous, actually. Ah, and I think the reason just knocked on my door. Pardon me? I'll explain it all to you when I see you, okay? Bye-bye. Coming. Hi, come in.
Hello. How come you're not at the studio? Too much late-night frivolity?
Well, I did oversleep a little, but I don't have much to do this morning. I was just explaining that to Nancy. We're going to have lunch together.
You're gonna have lunch with Nancy? What about poor Skylar? What's he gonna do for lunch? All right. I was just kidding. That was a permanent date.
You promised me you wouldn't get silly about this, James.
All right. I was just on my way over to the theater. Thought I'd stop by and say hello, see how you were doing, see how the party was.
Well, it was fine, and I still wish you'd come.
No, you don't. Mr. Whitney wanted you to come alone. Besides, I would have been a member of a very painfully obvious triangle, and you would have had a lousy time. Thanks. What was that for?
For being so nice and so understanding.
Well, I didn't have much option. Mr. Whitney's the one with the power and the money. All I have is my sensitivity and my sexy good looks.
And you do have those.
Thanks. Mr. Whitney doesn't do too badly himself, actually. I'm sure he does very well with the ladies. How did he do with you?
What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, you know.
Jim, Mike and Nancy brought me home, and I really wish you hadn't asked that.
I wish I hadn't asked you. There goes my sensitivity. What's next? My sexy good looks?
Jim, try not to get too sensitive about my relationship with Sky, okay? I just don't want to feel like it's either or with my social life right now. I think you know that.
Yeah, I do. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Morning, Beth. You want some breakfast? We're having French toast. Here's the margarine, Mama. Butter flavored Crisco will make it better, because it gives my recipe a more buttery taste.
Goldeny rich butter flavor Crisco has no salt or cholesterol, and since it's made just for cooking, it gives everything you fry a rich, buttery taste no margarine can match.
That's luscious. Butter flavored Crisco for more buttery taste every time.
When we've had it with city life, Lisa and I head for the hills. All she takes is her toothbrush and her ivory, and she still looks beautiful.
When Greg told me he wrote ivory, I thought he was kidding. But I've always used ivory, and I think my skin looks pretty healthy. You know, I wouldn't trade Ivory's pure and mild clean for all the fancy beauty bars in the world. Ivory makes my face look fresh, clean, but most of all healthy.
That healthy look, it's pure ivory.
I have always used ivory ever since I can remember.
I polish away plaque when I polish my smile.
New Pearl Drops tooth polish with foaming action helps polish away plaque.
It's a great feeling.
Polish your smile with new Pearl Drops and help polish away plaque.
When you want a hot meal without a big deal. Hot Pockets. Ham and cheese.
Pizza, please.
Barbecue, it's for you.
The tasty hot meal without a big deal. Hot Pockets.
Move over, Miami Vice. The guys from Riptide are coming at you.
People generally get out of the way of crazies.
They're high-flying, high-tech detectives, always ready to save a damsel in distress.
Will you guys help me, please?
California style.
Sounds fantastic.
Perry King and Joe Penny. Riptide. Weekdays at 7, 6 Central on USA.
So what do you think Skylar wants, and why is he coming here first thing in the morning?
It's almost noon. And a few minutes ago, you were convinced he was coming by to apologize for last night.
Well, that has to be the reason. What other one could it be? There he is. You get it.
Why, Spencer. Good morning, Mrs. Saxon. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Whitney. Spencer? So where Where's your boss? Out parking the car?
No, Raven, Mr. Whitney didn't come with me.
But he told me he wanted to come over here this morning and talk to me about something.
Well, that's not exactly what he said. He asked if he could have a few moments of your time. He didn't say with him.
You mean it's with you?
To be truthful, Raven, I thought he should come himself, but Mr. Whitney wasn't sure of the reception that he would get, considering what happened last night.
Well, he's absolutely right.
That's why he suggested that I come over and ask you a question.
What question?
Whether or not you are familiar with this.
What is it?
It resembles a key.
Yes, Mrs. Saxon, but from its shape, we believe it's the sort of key commonly used to open a safety deposit box. There's a number on it, Raven, 5011. Does that sound familiar?
No.
It was discovered among Jefferson Brown's, I'm sorry, your late husband's personal possessions. So far, we haven't been able to determine what it was meant for.
Apparently, Mr. Brown had something in a bank vault.
Yes, and that's why we're so curious. With all the financial resources he had available to him, why would he go to the trouble of being so secretive?
So that's the only reason he called. Not because of his rude behavior yesterday, not because he wanted to apologize to me
I'm
for...
sure Mr. Whitney would prefer a much more cordial relationship, Raven.
Don't give me that, Spencer. Schuyler Whitney has a selfish motive behind everything he does. Don't you think I know that?
Yes, if anyone would know about that, Raven, you would.
Exactly. So you can just give this key to Mr. Whitney. And you can just tell him to lock himself in that bank vault and stay there and play with his money the rest of his life.
Thank you for your time anyway, Raven. Goodbye, Mrs. Saxon. It's nice seeing you as always.
Wait a minute, Spencer. You can take his stupid raincoat with you.
This isn't Mr. Whitney's.
It isn't?
No, Raven, it was left in a closet. It belonged to your late husband. Goodbye.
I oiled it.
Kids are born stain makers.
Oops.
So moms need the stain lifter.
Ooh. A-L-L. How does it work?
All goes right to the stain and just lifts it away. For my little stain makers,
Ketchup.
I get the stain lifter.
Whoa. A-L-L.
It's the stain lifter.
All now with more cleaning power.
If you want to know, my throat is killing me. It's raw, rough.
Mr. Wyatt is in for a nice surprise. With Chloroseptic spray, he's going to get incredibly fast sore throat relief.
I don't know.
Because doctor recommended Chloroseptic goes to work right where you hurt. But how fast is it? Works so fast that Mr. Wyatt will start to feel relief.
Wow, it's,
before we finish this commercial.
The pain is disappearing.
Well, somebody's happy to be going to work.
I love my job.
I wish I could say that.
Bob.
I know. Look for a better job in the National Business Employment Weekly.
See? The best jobs available everywhere in the country. Professional, managerial, technical, that's you, at top companies.
Nice salaries.
$25,000 a year and up. There are articles to help you land a better job, how to look good in interviews, write a better resume, and the reason I still read it, articles to help you do better on the job. How to handle office politics, when to ask for a raise, how to deal with an impossible boss.
Okay, I'm convinced. I'm a National Business Employment Weekly reader.
Don't make a career move without it.
Ask for the National Business Employment Weekly at your newsstand. Or if you prefer, get the next 8 issues by first-class mail for $35. Call toll-free 800-255-5000. 8 weekly issues, $35. Call 800-255-5000 now.
Yes, Anna? Oh, of course. Send him in. Well, Damien, Mike, look any worse for wear after last night? I hear you and Derek had a little excitement.
Well, actually, there was a lot more fuss than firearms. See, a very disturbed man named Bill Lowry locked himself in his rooming house with some guns and ammunition and got himself a little publicity. That's really all there was to it.
From what I heard, there could have been some injury inflicted.
Yeah, there could have been, but fortunately there wasn't. Anyway, here I am, ready for some much more exciting work.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but so far, this is all we know about Dwight Endicott. the Monticello underworld and the Republic of Eden.
Well, there's not much to go on, is there?
It's thin, but there may be something there that could prove useful. For instance, we found out that Endicott was the single largest importer of artworks from Eden. Paintings, sculpture, you name it. Several hundred pieces a year were shipped from that island to his gallery.
I didn't realize there were that many artists on Eden.
Most of the stuff was listed as antiques.
Mike, is there a possibility that there have been some things besides works of art shipped into this country?
That's the first thought that occurred to us. It would be a peculiar way to hide contraband, like narcotics, but not a bad one.
Well, sounds like a damn good idea to me. I mean, who's going to smash open a priceless statue because he thinks it might be hollow? Or maybe tear open a crate that might have a precious painting inside?
So far, it's only speculation, but it is interesting.
Mike, what about more recent shipments? I mean, since Eddie Lorimer has taken over the gallery.
That's even more interesting. There haven't been any more shipments. They've stopped coming.
Really? It sounds to me like they're worried about something. Could be they're just trying to cool their heels for a while.
No way of knowing for sure. But take that folder with you, study it, and see if you come up with any ideas.
I sure will.
Oh, there's a new man working with you, isn't there? Derek mentioned Detective Loomis.
Yeah, well, Loomis is just working with me temporarily while Calvin is, well, Calvin's on vacation.
Well, if you'd like to show that folder to him, it's okay with me.
Actually, Mike, I'd prefer not to. I'm just not sure that he can handle it. I don't think he's smart enough. In fact, since last night, Mike, I'm not sure about Loomis at all.
Number 59, sculptor, terracotta. Title, Figure of a Young Girl. Artist, Sanchez, Providence, 1711, Toledo.
Ohio.
Oh. It says here, Spain. The dummies must have made a mistake. Toledo is definitely in Ohio. I know, because I spent a month there one night. Isn't that cute?
Cute. Eddie, why is all this stuff being sent back to Eden?
Hey, how should I know? I just do what they tell me to do.
Who is they?
Would you just write down what I tell you and shut up? Come on.
Okay.
Number 60, painting. 20 by 32, tempera. Title, Abstraction in Red. Artist, Chin-Yu, Providence, Boston Gallery, 1921.
Eddie, gotta talk to you. Alone.
All right, go get yourself a 2-foot meatball sandwich, kid. You haven't eaten in the last 15 minutes.
Do you want me to type up what I've got here so far?
Yeah, you better get started, because the way you type, it's going to take you a week.
You know, you look a little pale, Joseph. Why don't you take some vitamins?
So, what's up?
You blew it.
Who? Who blew what?
Our friend Loomis. He had the perfect opportunity to blow Tyler away last night, and he blew it.
What happened?
What happened? They had a guy with a load of guns and ammo holed up. Loomis could have blown Tyler away right there and then and blamed the guy. No. He lets Tyler sweet-talk the guy out of coming out of the room. The guy walks out nice and peaceful. End the story.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Loomis cannot wait for the perfect moment. He's got to make the moment happen. Doesn't he understand that? You tell Loomis I want him to get Tyler, take him into an alley, bring him into an old garage. I don't care. Use whatever he's got to use. Beat him with a garbage can cover. But I want this guy had. He can tell the cops that he got mugged by a couple of punks, anything. I want this guy.
I'll be right with you, Valerie, just as soon as I straighten my desk. I leave it for a few minutes and somebody comes in and piles up 50 more items on it.
And I'd like to go back and find 50 new items on my desk.
Well, I guess that is about as much as I'm going to do. Let's go. I'm ready.
Good, I'm starving. I decided to skip breakfast because I slept so late.
You did. Mr. Whitney.
Hello, Mrs. Carr. And Val, what a nice surprise.
Well, what are you doing here?
I was thinking about our conversation last night, about the man who owns the newspaper.
Oh, well, if you were hoping to see Mr. Scarborough here, I'm afraid you've come to the wrong place because he seldom comes to the office. I told you last night he prefers to conduct business from his home.
Well, isn't that interesting? But when I'm the owner, I expect to spend most of my time right here, where the action is.
All this great food.
It's for the party. And a fresh box of Arm & Hammer baking soda keeps everything fresh.
Another box in the freezer?
Keeps ice cream from tasting funny. And the new calendar reminds us to change every 3 months. Isn't it time for a fresh box?
Great party, Louise. I can still smell it.
Terry, we need Arm & Hammer carpet deodorizer. 100% active deodorizing ingredients. While ordinary brands sit on top, Arm & Hammer penetrates to destroy deep down odors.
Whole room's fresh.
Work better, longer, cost less, too.
The doctor said I could take Anacin 3 for my headaches.
Anacin 3 has the same aspirin-free acetaminophen that's in Tylenol tablets with no coating, but Anacin 3 adds a protective coating for easier swallowing.
Take 3. Anacin 3.
Also, Anacin 3 coated caplets.
Welch stops the blops. Welch stops the blops. Welch's Squeezables let you spread the jelly without the messy blobs. And now Squeezables come in even easier to squeeze bottles.
Well, stop the blob.
I thought you were camping out at the Malones.
Yeah, you got a blanket?
Miss Malone didn't give you one?
Well, her blankets don't have that nice smell.
Only Downy rinses in that pure, clean April fresh smell while it gets your wash deep down soft.
That's more like it. And it's soft.
Sure, Downy.
You take this one. I don't blame you.
The soft April freshness of Downy.
Almost home.
Night, guys.
Where's your dad?
Follow your nose now. Hi.
You two been rolling steel or rolling in dirt? Honestly. That's dirt. That's tough. That's jelly donut. Good luck, Tide.
Watch Tide work on some of the toughest stains or odors. Tide won't quit till clothes come clean.
More toast pop?
Hey, guys.
Hey. Honey, that came out real nice.
You surprised me, too.
You dry this outside.
On tough dirt and odors, clothes come clean because Tide won't quit.
I like the atmosphere of this place, the sense of something happening or about to happen.
Well, yeah, that's interesting because very often people are very amazed at how calm it is in a newspaper office.
That was always my impression.
Yes, they expect to see people running around waving papers saying stop the presses. Do you realize how expensive it is to stop the presses?
Just the same, I like the feeling here. I feel almost as if I've come home.
But you did say that you've never worked on a paper, didn't you?
I've never worked, period, Mrs. Carr. But I did go to school, mostly abroad. In Geneva, I was editor-in-chief of our campus newspaper. I had great fun puncturing the inflated egos of everyone, but unfortunately, they only let me publish one issue.
Oh, dear.
Yes, they didn't like my style. But if I had been the owner of that paper,
Oh, I see. You would like to use one as a means of personal expression.
I think I'd do better the second time around.
Oh, well, I don't think that you should look for the Monticello News to do that for you because, as I said last night, I don't think there's a chance in the world that Mr. Scarborough is going to sell.
Well, we'll just have to see about that, won't we? Listen, were you two ladies on your way to lunch?
Yes, that was the idea.
Splendid. I'll take you both.
Are you going to use that coat as some kind of security blanket?
It's his coat. It's the only thing that I really have left from my sky.
Yes, he really left you very little, didn't he?
He left me everything. And then he took it all away.
I can see how you would feel that way.
There's even change left in the pocket. Quarter, a nickel, and 2 pennies. All that's left of the Whitney fortune. There's something else. Key.
Another one?
Yes, and it looks exactly like the one Spencer had.
Is there a number?
There certainly is. It says 5012.